Cole Coleman hadn't stepped inside a church in 17 years, but the bells still found him every Sunday morning, ringing across the frozen valley like a debt collector. He stood in the hallway, outside Sarah's bedroom door, hand reaching for the knob, the way he had every evening since 1975. His fingers stopped an inch from the brass, held there, pulled back. Downstairs, the kitchen table was set for 12. He sat alone at the head, pushed expensive food around a plate he wouldn't finish. The radio played Silent Night. He turned it off. The phone rang. Roy's voice calling from town. "Boss, there's a little girl at the mall who asked Santa to save her dying mama. Thought you should—" "Not my problem, Roy." He hung up. Across from him, an empty chair. A place setting he'd forgotten to remove. Again. The girl was small enough to fit in the space between his truck's headlights and the snowbank, which is the only reason he saw her before he hit her. Cole's boot hit the brake. The F-350 slid 20 feet on black ice before the tires caught. He sat there, engine running, hands tight on the wheel. Through the windshield, a child, maybe 8, standing in the middle of Highway 93 like she'd sprouted from the asphalt. No coat, tennis shoes dark with wet, breath coming in clouds. He put the truck in park and climbed out. Cold hit him like a fist. 15 degrees, maybe less, wind screaming down from the Bitterroots. "What the hell are you doing in the road?" She flinched. Skinny kid, brown hair in messy braids, face red from cold or crying or both. "I'm sorry. I'm real sorry. I didn't mean—" "Didn't ask if you meant it. Asked what you're doing." "I was trying to get to the hospital." He looked past her. Nothing but highway and darkness and snow. No houses, no cars, just empty Montana morning, sun not even close to rising. "Where'd you come from?" "Mercy House. The shelter." She pointed south. "I was walking, but it's real far and I got lost and—" Her voice cracked. "I'm sorry." "Stop apologizing." He walked around the truck, checking for damage. None. Looked at her again. She was shaking hard enough he could see it from 10 feet away. "Hospital's 8 miles north. You were walking the wrong direction." Her face crumpled. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. The lady at the shelter said take Highway 93, but I don't know which way is which and—" "Stop." She stopped. "Why are you going to the hospital?" "My mommy. They took her in the ambulance last night. She was real sick and then she fell. And they said I couldn't come. And—" The words tumbled out fast, desperate. "I have to see her. I have to make sure she's okay." Cole stood there in the freezing dark, looking at this kid who was maybe 90 pounds soaking wet. No coat, wrong direction, 8 miles from anywhere. Every instinct said, get back in the truck, drive away. "Not your problem," he heard himself say. "Get in." She didn't move. "You want to freeze to death out here?" "Mommy says don't get in cars with strangers." "Smart woman. So freeze. Your choice." He turned back to the driver's side. "Wait." He stopped, hand on the door. "Please. Is it okay if I— Please?" He didn't answer, just opened the passenger door and stood there. She ran to the truck, climbed in. The seat swallowed her. He got in, cranked the heat to maximum, pulled back onto the highway. She sat pressed against the door like she was trying to take up as little space as possible. They drove in silence. Snow had started falling again, fat flakes in the headlights. He could see her shaking in his peripheral vision. Reached over without looking, turned the heat vent toward her. "Thank you," she whispered. He grunted. 5 miles. The shaking got worse instead of better. He realized she was soaked through. Shoes, jeans, sweatshirt all wet from walking through snow. Christ. He pulled off his jacket, tossed it at her. "Put that on." "But you'll be cold." "I'm fine. Put it on." She wrapped herself in it. It was huge on her, sleeves hanging past her hands. She pulled it tight, and some of the shaking eased. "Thank you, mister. That's real nice of you." It's a jacket." "Still nice." He didn't respond. Kept driving. The girl was quiet for a minute, then— "What's your name?" "Cole." "I'm Lily. Lily Grace Hutchins." And said it formal, like she'd been taught. "I'm 8. Well, almost 8. My birthday's in March." "Uh-huh. You going to the hospital too?" "Cattle auction. Great Falls." "Oh." Pause. "Is that far from the hospital?" "Same town." "That's real lucky. That we were going to the same place, I mean." "Lucky, right." He glanced at her. She was looking out the window at the dark mountains, face reflecting in the glass, trying not to cry. "Your mom gonna be okay?" "I don't know." Voice small. "She's been real sick for a while. Cancer. The doctor said maybe if she got treatment, but we don't got insurance and the medicine costs too much, and—" She stopped. "Sorry, I talk too much. Mommy says I do that when I'm nervous." What kind of cancer?" "I don't know the big word. Starts with P." Pancreatic? Yeah, that one. Cole's hands tightened on the wheel. Pancreatic. Jesus, that was a death sentence. Treatment or not. They pulled into Great Falls as the sun was starting to turn the sky gray. St. Vincent Medical Center sat on the north side. Big brick building with too many windows lit up. He parked near the emergency entrance. Lily had the door open before he even put it in park. Thank you, mister. Thank you so much. God bless you. She jumped out and ran for the doors, his jacket flapping around her knees. He sat there. Engine running. Should go. Auction started at 8. He had cattle to buy, people to see, business to handle. Didn't move. 5 minutes. 10. Damn it. He turned off the truck and went inside. The hospital smelled like every hospital. Antiseptic and fear and bad coffee. He found Lily in the ICU waiting room, sitting in a chair too big for her, legs dangling. His jacket pooled around her. A nurse was talking to her, clipboard in hand. Honey, hospital policy says minors need a guardian present for ICU visits. Is there someone we can call? No, ma'am. It's just me and Mommy. What about your father? Grandparents? Aunts or uncles? Lily shook her head. I don't got nobody else. The nurse saw Cole standing in the doorway. Sir, are you with this child? Every part of him said no. Say no. Walk away. Lily turned, saw him. Eyes went wide. Mr. Cole? The nurse looked between them. Is this your daughter? No. Guardian? No. Then I'm afraid. I gave her a ride. She was walking on the highway in the dark, alone. He heard the edge in his voice. You're telling me she can't see her dying mother because of paperwork? The nurse's expression shifted. Not angry, tired. Sir, I understand, but we have rules. If she doesn't have a legal guardian present, then I'll stay. The words came out before he'd decided to say them. The nurse blinked. You'll stay? Until someone else shows up that work for your rules? She studied him. Whatever she saw made her nod. I'll make a note. You can go in together, room 304, 10 minutes only. Lily slid off the chair, came to stand next to him, looked up. You're staying? 10 minutes. Then I got cattle to buy. Her face broke into something that wasn't quite a smile, but was trying. Thank you. He didn't answer. Just followed the nurse's directions to the elevator, the girl trailing behind him like a shadow he hadn't asked for and couldn't shake. The ranch house had 64 windows, and Cole had learned to live in the dark, so the girl's first question wasn't one he knew how to answer. How come you don't turn on no lights? They'd left the hospital 3 hours ago. Ventura, tired woman with kind eyes and a clipboard that weighed too much, had pulled Cole aside while Lily sat with her unconscious mother. She's in a coma, induced, to manage the pain. We need 24 to 48 hours to see if she stabilizes. And if she doesn't? The doctor's face said everything her mouth didn't. What about the girl? Mercy House shelter's full, Christmas overflow. I can call Child Protective Services, but they're backed up and she can stay with me, Doctor. Ventura blinked. I'm sorry? My ranch, just for tonight, until you know more. It's Coleman, that's very generous, but there are protocols. Background checks, home visits. Doc, it's one night. You got a better option that doesn't involve putting an 8-year-old in a group home on Christmas. A week? She studied him. Whatever she saw made her nod. One night, I'll need your contact information. Now Lily stood in the entrance of his house, small and silent, staring up at the vaulted ceiling like she'd walked into a cathedral. Her voice came out whisper quiet. This is where you live? Yeah. By yourself? Me and my foreman. He's got a cabin out by the east pasture. She turned in a slow circle, taking it in. Stone fireplace that went up 2 stories. Leather furniture that hadn't been sat in for months. Windows everywhere, all of them dark, despite the afternoon sun. Hardwood floors that echoed when you walked. It's real big. 12,000 acres. House is just the center of it. I meant the house. Yeah, it's big. He led her upstairs, avoiding the east wing hallway by instinct. Showed her to a guest room on the opposite end. Clean sheets, empty dresser, attached bathroom, bigger than most people's living rooms. Lily set down the plastic grocery bag that held everything she owned. Change of clothes, toothbrush, a stuffed rabbit with one ear missing. Looked around like she was afraid to touch anything. This room's bigger than our whole motel was. Bathroom's through there. Towels in the cabinet. Don't touch anything you're not supposed to. Yes, sir? She stood there, waiting. What? Nothing. Just thank you for letting me stay. He grunted. Dinner's at 6. You hungry now? Don't want to be a bother. That's not what I asked. I'm okay. Her stomach growled, loud enough they both heard it. Cole almost smiled. Didn't. Come on. The kitchen was professional grade. Sub-Zero fridge, Viking range, granite island, and completely unused. He pulled out bread, turkey, cheese, made her a sandwich, set it in front of her with a glass of milk. She stared at it like he'd given her gold. You gonna eat or just look at it? Can I really? Lily, eat. She picked it up with both hands, took a bite, closed her eyes like it was the best thing she'd ever tasted. It was just turkey and bread. He watched her eat, too fast, like someone might take it away, refilled her milk without asking. She didn't notice, too focused on the food. Roy showed up at 5:30, stomping snow off his boots on the porch, stopped dead when he saw Lily at the kitchen table. Boss? Roy, this is Lily. She's staying tonight. Roy looked between them. His weathered face didn't show surprise easy, but it showed now. The girl from the mall. Her mother's in ICU. Shelter's full. Uh-huh. Roy pulled off his hat, nodded at Lily. Ma'am. Lily's eyes went wide. Nobody ever called me ma'am before. Well, you're in a rancher's house now. We got manners. Les, he looked at Cole. I'll grab the feed order from town tomorrow. Make it Wednesday. I got something to handle. Roy's eyebrow went up, but he didn't push. Wednesday it is. You need help with dinner? Cole hadn't thought about dinner. He had a freezer full of steaks and no idea what kids ate. We'll figure it out. Roy glanced at Lily again, then back at Cole. Something passed between them. 28 years of working together meant they could have whole conversations without words. This one said, You sure about this? Cole's face said, No, but I'm doing it anyway. Roy put his hat back on. Well, I'll leave you to it. Miss Lily, you need anything? Foreman's cabin is 1/4 mile east. Lights always on. Thank you, sir. After Roy left, Lily explored. Asked permission for everything. Could she look at the books? Could she see out the window? Could she use the bathroom? Every question careful, like she expected to be told no. Cole let her wander while he figured out dinner. Ended up with scrambled eggs and toast. Not fancy, but edible. They ate at the long table, Lily at one end, him at the other, 12 feet of polished wood between them. The silence was heavy. Mr. Cole? Yeah? How come you don't turn on no lights? He looked around. She was right. Sun had set, and they were eating in near darkness, just the stove light and what came through the windows. Electric bill's high enough. It was a lie. The electric bill meant nothing to him. But explaining the truth, that light felt too much like living, wasn't something he could put into words. Roy's explanation came from the doorway, voice gentle. Boss likes it quiet and dark. Don't take it personal, Miss Lily. After dinner, Lily did the dishes without being asked. Cole tried to tell her she didn't have to, but she was already elbow-deep in soap suds, standing on a chair to reach the sink. He stood there awkward, not knowing if he should help or leave. She dropped a plate. Didn't break, landed in the suds, but she flinched like she'd been hit. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I'll be more careful, I promise. It's a plate. But I almost broke it, and you didn't. Calm down. She stared at him, searching his face for anger that wasn't there. When she didn't find it, her shoulders dropped a little. Okay. You don't got to do dishes. I want to help. I don't want to be useless. Something in those words hit him wrong. 8 years old, and already terrified of being useless. You're not useless. You're 8. Almost 8. Still. Later, when the dishes were done, and she was restless with energy she didn't know what to do with, he heard himself say, You want to see the barn? Her face lit up. Really? Got horses. You said you liked horses. I love horses. I never been close to one, but I seen them on TV, and they're real pretty, and... She stopped. Sorry. I'm talking too much again. You're fine. Get your coat. His jacket, technically, still swimming on her. The barn was warm with animal heat, smell of hay and leather and horse. 6 stalls, 4 occupied. Ranger, his big sorrel gelding, stuck his head over the door, ears forward. That's Ranger. Had him 12 years. Lily approached slow, careful. Reached up. Her hand didn't even come close to his nose. He's real tall. 16 hands. Is that a lot? Big enough. Ranger lowered his head, curious about this small human. Lily giggled when his whiskers brushed her palm. He's soft. He's a good boy, ornery sometimes, but good. He watched her stroke Ranger's face, pure joy in every movement. Something shifted in his chest. Memory of Sarah doing the same thing, same age, same wonder, before he could talk himself out of it. You want to sit on him? Really? I can? Just sitting. No riding yet. He led Ranger out of the stall, held him steady, lifted Lily up like she weighed nothing, she basically did, and set her on Ranger's bare back. She gripped the mane, eyes huge. Oh my gosh, I'm so high up. Hang on. He led Ranger around the barn, slow walk, Lily laughing the whole time. Real laughs. Kid laughs. The kind that echoed off the rafters. Roy stood in the barn doorway, watching. Cole caught his eye. Roy smiled, sad kind of smile, and went back to his cabin without a word. When Lily was yawning more than laughing, Cole lifted her down. Bedtime. Already? It's almost 9. You've been up since before dawn. She nodded, suddenly exhausted. Stumbled on the way back to the house. He steadied her. She was asleep on her feet by the time they got to her room. Brush your teeth. I'll be downstairs. Okay. Mr. Cole? Yeah? Today was real nice. Thank you. His throat went tight. Yeah, get some sleep. He went downstairs, stood in the dark kitchen, hands gripping the counter. Seeing Lily on that horse, it was like watching Sarah's ghost. Same age, same laugh. Same way her hands tangled in the mane. He should have said no, should have kept distance, should have... A sound from upstairs, footsteps in the hallway, then silence. Then Lily's voice confused. Mr. Cole? He was up the stairs before he thought about it. Found her standing in the East Wing hallway, in front of Sarah's door, hand on the knob. Don't touch that door. His voice came out harder than he meant. Sharp, scary. Lily jumped back like she'd been burned. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I was just looking for the bathroom, and I got turned around, and... The bathroom's the other direction. I know, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to snoop. I just... Go to bed. Mr. Cole, I didn't mean... Now. She ran. He heard her door close, heard crying, muffled. He stood there, hand on Sarah's doorknob, shaking, couldn't turn it. Never could. Boss! Roy stood at the top of the stairs. How long he'd been there, Cole didn't know. Don't start. Wasn't gonna. Roy came closer, voice quiet. You okay? I'm fine. That girl didn't do nothing wrong. I know. So why'd you yell at her? Cole let go of the doorknob, turned around. His face must have shown everything because Roy's expression shifted to something like pity. She's just a kid, Cole. I know what she is. Do you? Roy crossed his arms. Because from where I'm standing, looks like you forgot. Silence. Down the hall, Lily's crying had stopped. Probably crying quieter now, trying not to make noise. Roy's voice dropped lower. She would have been 8 this year. The words hit like a fist. Don't. Sarah. If she'd lived, she'd be 24. Cole's voice broke on the number. She'd be 24 years old. I know, Roy. I know exactly how old she'd be. And this girl is 8. You think I don't see that? You think I don't see Sarah every time I look at her? Then maybe that's the problem. What's that supposed to mean? Means maybe you're so busy seeing what you lost, you can't see what's right in front of you. Cole turned away, jaw clenched. Roy sighed. I'm going to bed. You should apologize to that little girl in the morning. I know. And boss? What? Keeping that door locked, don't bring her back. Roy went downstairs. Cole heard the front door close. His truck starting, driving back to the cabin. Cole stood in the hallway alone. 64 windows in this house, and every single one felt like an eye watching him fail. He walked to Lily's door, raised his hand to knock, couldn't. Went back downstairs instead. Sat in the dark, didn't sleep. 3 days in, Cole realized the girl had been folding his newspapers every morning and leaving them on the table, corners perfectly aligned, like someone had taught her that small kindnesses might earn you the right to stay. He'd apologized Tuesday morning, stood outside her door at dawn, knocked quiet so he wouldn't scare her again. When she opened it, eyes red from crying she'd tried to hide, he'd said, I shouldn't have yelled. That door, it's got nothing to do with you. She'd nodded. I won't touch it again. I know. That was it. Neither of them good with words. But she'd come down for breakfast after that, and the newspapers started showing up folded. Wednesday morning he woke before light, same as always, made coffee, pulled on his jacket, and walked east toward the pond. 17 years, same walk, every morning. The pond sat in a clearing between ponderosa pines, maybe 2 acres across, frozen solid now. In summer, it was pretty. Ducks, dragonflies, kids swimming. In December, it was just ice and memory. He stood at the edge, where the bank sloped down, same spot, stared at the frozen surface like the answer to something might be written there. It never was. Behind him, a twig snapped. He turned. Lily stood 20 feet back, half hidden behind a pine tree, still wearing his jacket over her pajamas, boots unlaced. What are you doing out here? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to follow you. I just saw you walking, and I wondered where you go every morning, and, Lily, she stopped. Come here. She came slow, like she wasn't sure if she was in trouble, stood next to him, looking at the pond. What is this place? He didn't answer for a long time. Finally, Just a pond. She was quiet, smart enough to know there was more, smart enough not to push. Roy's voice came from the tree line. Miss Lily, you're going to catch your death out here in pajamas. The foreman walked over, steaming mug in hand, looked at Cole, then Lily, then the pond. Boss comes here every morning, Roy said to Lily. Has for 17 years. How come? Roy glanced at Cole. Cole said nothing. His little girl drowned here, long time ago. Lily's face went pale, looked up at Cole. The girl in the picture? Cole nodded. I'm so sorry, Mr. Cole. Yeah. Is that why you're sad? Roy answered when Cole couldn't. That's why he stopped being anything at all. Lily stood there a minute, then slipped her small hand into Cole's. Didn't say anything, just held on. Something in his chest cracked, not broke. Cracked, like ice starting to thaw. Roy cleared his throat. I'll walk Miss Lily back. You take your time. He led her away. Cole heard her whisper, does it help coming here every day? Roy's answer floated back. Don't know if it helps. But sometimes we gotta stand in the place that hurt us till we figure out how to walk away from it. Thursday morning, Cole did his walk like always, stood at the pond, stared at ice, footsteps behind him, lighter this time. Lily appeared with a mug of coffee. I thought you might be cold. He took it. Thanks. She stood next to him, quiet. After a while, my daddy left when I was little. 3, I think. I don't really remember him. Yeah? I used to think if I was real good, he'd come back. Like maybe he left because I cried too much, or I was too loud, or her voice got small. I thought if I was perfect, he'd want me. Cole looked down at her. That's not how it works. I know. She kicked at the snow. But I tried anyway for a real long time. He understood that. God, he understood that. You know it wasn't your fault, right? Him leaving. She shrugged. Mommy says he just wasn't ready to be a daddy. Says some people aren't meant for it. Your mommy's right. Are you meant for it? The question caught him sideways. What? Being a daddy. Were you good at it? His throat closed. I don't know. Didn't get enough time to find out. How long did you get? 7 years. That's longer than 3. Not long enough. They stood there in the cold, watching their breath cloud in the air. I think you're good at it, Lily said quiet. You don't know me. I know you give people your jacket when they're cold, and you let them ride your horse, and you make real good scrambled eggs. She looked up at him. Those seem like daddy things. He didn't trust himself to speak. After a while, she said, we should go back. You got that hospital visit, remember? He'd forgotten. Lily hadn't. They walked back together, his coffee getting cold in his hand. St. Vincent Medical Center, 2 p.m. Dr. Ventura met them in the waiting room, clipboard against her chest like armor. No change. She's stable, but still unresponsive. Can I see her? Lily asked. Of course. 10 minutes, okay. Cole followed her to room 304. Lily's mother looked smaller than he remembered. Machines beeped steady, IV dripped, breathing tube down her throat. Lily pulled a chair close, climbed up, took her mother's hand. Hi, Mommy, it's me. Her voice was bright, kind, and I'm staying with a real nice man. His name's Mr. Cole, and he has a ranch with horses and everything. I got to ride one. His name's Ranger, and he's real gentle. Cole stepped into the hallway. Doctor Ventura followed, closing the door behind them. Mr. Coleman, we need to discuss realistic expectations. She's not waking up. The coma is medically induced. We can bring her out of it. But the cancer, she glanced at the chart. Stage 4, pancreatic. It's in her liver now, her lungs. How long? If we start aggressive treatment, chemo, radiation, experimental protocols, maybe 3 to 6 months, maybe. And without treatment? Weeks, maybe less. Cole looked through the window at Lily, still talking to her mother like she could hear every word. What's aggressive treatment cost? Dr. Ventura's face shifted. Mr. Coleman, even with insurance. She doesn't have insurance, I know. What's it cost? Surgery to remove what we can, chemo, radiation, hospital stay. You're looking at $180,000 minimum. Possibly more if complications, and she'd still die. Silence. Yes, Dr. Ventura said quiet. She'd still die, just maybe with less pain, maybe with time to say goodbye. Cole pulled out his checkbook, started writing. Mr. Coleman, what are you... He ripped the check free. $50,000, handed it to her. She stared at it. I don't... This is incredibly generous, but keep her comfortable. Let the girl visit. No pain. You understand? Yes, but you should know this won't buy a cure. It won't even buy much time. I know what it buys. It buys her daughter getting to say goodbye without watching her scream. His voice came out harder than he meant. That worth 50,000? Dr. Ventura's eyes got bright. Yes. Yes, it is. Then we're done talking. He went back into the room. Lily was holding her mother's hand, whispering something he couldn't hear. When she looked up, her face was trying so hard to be brave. Can we come back tomorrow? Yeah, we can come back. That evening, Cole saddled Ranger properly. Time you learned to ride for real. Lily's eyes went huge. Really? Really. But you gotta listen. Horses are bigger than you, stronger. You don't respect that, you get hurt. He taught her how to mount, how to hold the reins, how to sit. Put her up on Ranger and led them around the corral. After a while, he let go, walked alongside while she figured out steering. She was a natural. Didn't overthink it, just moved with the horse like she'd been doing it her whole life. You're doing good. I am? Don't get cocky. You fall off, it's gonna hurt. She laughed. I won't fall. 5 minutes later she did. Not bad, just slid sideways when Ranger stopped too quick. Hit the dirt, rolled, came up with her knee scraped bloody through torn jeans. Her face crumpled. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fall. I wasn't being careful and… Lily, stop. He knelt down. Everyone falls. That's how you learn. You hurt? My knee. Let me see. He carried her to the barn, sat her on a hay bale, found the first aid kit Roy kept in the tack room, cleaned the scrape with gentle hands, gravel and dirt, nothing deep. She hissed when the antiseptic hit but didn't cry. You're tough, he said. Mommy says crying don't fix nothing. Crying's allowed when something hurts. He wrapped the knee in gauze, taped it careful. His hands remembered this. Sarah at 7, same scrape, same barn. He'd bandaged her knee, and she'd hugged him and called him the best daddy in the whole world. His hands shook. Mr. Cole, you okay? He blinked. Yeah, you're all set. Thank you. And she looked at the bandage. You're real good at this. Had practice. They had dinner with Roy. Venison stew the foreman had made. Cornbread, coffee for the men, and milk for Lily. She ate 3 bowls. Growing girl, Roy said, approving. Lily wiped her mouth. Mr. Cole, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you have kids? The kitchen went silent. Roy's spoon stopped halfway to his mouth. Cole's throat closed. Every part of him screamed to tell the truth. Instead, he heard himself say, no. Oh. She looked confused. I thought maybe you're real good at the bandage thing. And teaching me to ride, those seem like daddy things. Just things you pick up on a ranch. Roy was staring at him. Cole could feel it. Lily nodded, accepted it. Well, you'd be real good at it. Being a daddy, I mean, if you ever wanted to. After she went to bed, Roy cornered him in the kitchen. You lied to her. It's easier. For who? Roy's voice was low, hard. You think Sarah would want you pretending she never existed? Don't. Don't what? Don't say her name? You haven't said it in 17 years. Won't talk about her, won't open her room, and now you're lying to a little girl who asked you a simple question. It's not simple. It is, though. Did you have kids? Yeah, I had a daughter. She died. That's the answer. Cole gripped the counter. I can't. Can't or won't. What's the difference? Roy's face softened. Boss, that girl in there? Sarah would have liked her. You know she would have. The words hit like they always did. True and terrible. That doesn't make this easier. Wasn't supposed to be easy. Was supposed to be honest. Roy grabbed his coat. I'm going to bed. You should think about what you're doing here. Because that little girl is getting attached. And if you're just using her to fill the hole Sarah left, I'm not. Then what are you doing? Cole didn't have an answer. Roy left. The house settled into silence. Upstairs, Cole stood outside Sarah's door again. Heard Lily moving around in the guest room. Probably couldn't sleep. He put his hand on the knob. Same as every night. Couldn't turn it. Went downstairs, sat in the dark. Outside, snow started falling. The photograph was in the back of the kitchen drawer, behind the owner's manual for a microwave he'd never used. And the girl's small hands found it the way children always find the things you've spent years trying to hide. Cole was in the barn checking Ranger's shoes when Lily appeared in the doorway, something clutched in both hands. Mr. Cole? He looked up, saw what she was holding. Everything stopped. Where did you get that? His voice came out flat, dangerous. She took a step back. I was putting away the silverware, and the drawer got stuck and I pulled too hard and everything fell out, and I was just picking it up and… I asked where you got it. The kitchen. I'm sorry. I wasn't snooping, I promise. I was just… He crossed the barn in 4 strides, took the photograph from her hands, 5x7, color faded to almost nothing. Him, 20 years younger, actually smiling. Sarah on his shoulders, arms spread wide like she was flying. Christmas lights blurred in the background. On the back, his ex-wife's handwriting, Sarah and Daddy, Christmas 1974. Lily's voice came small. Who is she? He couldn't answer, couldn't look away from the photo. Sarah's face, 7 years old, gap-toothed grin, pink bow in her hair. Mr. Cole? Go back to the house. Oh, but now, she ran. He stood there holding the picture, hands shaking. Hadn't seen this in, God, he didn't even know how long. Thought he'd thrown them all away, burned them, something. But here it was. Proof she'd existed. Proof he'd been happy once. Proof he'd failed her. Roy found him 10 minutes later, still standing there. Boss? She found a picture. Of Sarah? Cole nodded. Roy was quiet a moment. What did you tell her? Nothing. Sent her away. Cole? Don't. But Roy didn't leave. Just stood there, waiting. Finally, Cole said, she asked me who she was. I didn't. Are you going to tell her the truth? What truth? That I had a daughter and she died because I wasn't paying attention? That I chose a business deal over being home? That every time I look at Lily, I see... His voice cracked. I see what I lost. I see Sarah at 8 years old and I can't... He stopped. Couldn't finish. Roy's voice was gentle. You gotta talk to her. I know. You gonna? Yeah. Cole walked back to the house. Found Lily in the kitchen, putting the fallen silverware back in the drawer. Her face was red, tear-streaked. I'm real sorry, Mr. Cole. I didn't mean to find it. I didn't mean to make you upset. Lily, stop. She looked up. He set the photo on the table between them. You asked me if I had kids. You said no. Long pause. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, wind rattled the windows. I lied. Her eyes went to the photo, back to him. This is Sarah, my daughter. The girl from the pond. Yeah. You said you didn't have kids. I don't. The words came out raw. Not anymore. Understanding moved across her face. She died? Yeah. I'm so sorry. Fresh tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. If I'd known, I wouldn't have. It's not your fault. But I made you remember and... Lily. He pulled out a chair, sat down heavy. I remember every day. Every single day for 17 years. She stood there, small and scared, not knowing what to do. That's why you go to the pond. Yeah. And that's why you keep that room locked. He nodded. She picked up the photo, looked at it close. She's real pretty. She was. How old was she? 7. In that picture, she died when she was 7. Lily's face went pale. Same age as when my daddy left. Yeah. And I'm 8. Almost 8. She set the photo down careful, like it might break. Is that why you've been so nice to me? Because I remind you of her? The question cut straight through him. I don't know. Do you want me here because of me, or because I'm the same age she was? God. 8 years old and asking questions that shouldn't have answers. I don't know, he said again. Honest. Terrible. I thought I was helping you, but maybe I'm just trying to fix something I can't fix. Her face crumpled. So I'm like a replacement? No, that's not. Then what am I? He didn't have an answer. Lily backed toward the doorway. I should go. I should call the shelter. I don't want to be something that makes you sad. Lily. Wait. But she was already running upstairs. Roy appeared from the living room. That went well. Shut up, Roy. You told her the truth. That's good. Is it? Because now she thinks she's just a replacement for what I lost. Are you? Cole's head snapped up. What? Is she a replacement? I don't... He stopped. Looked at the photo. Sarah's face smiling up at him from 20 years ago. I don't know. Roy sat down across from him. You know what I think? I don't want to know what you think. I think you're terrified. Cole didn't argue. I think every time you look at that girl, you see your daughter. And it scares the hell out of you because you couldn't save Sarah, and you're afraid you can't save Lily either. Her mother's dying, Roy. The cancer's everywhere. I already failed. You wrote a $50,000 check. Money doesn't bring people back. No. But it bought that little girl time to say goodbye. That's not nothing. Cole put his head in his hands. Roy stood up. I'm going to check on her. You figure out what you're doing here. Because you can't keep one foot in the grave with Sarah and one foot trying to help Lily. You gotta choose. After Roy went upstairs, Cole sat alone in the kitchen. Couldn't do this. Couldn't be this for her. Couldn't be a father again. Couldn't risk it. He grabbed his coat and walked to the pond. Dusk had turned the ice purple-gray. Snow was starting again, fat flakes that landed silent. He stood at the edge. Same spot, always the same spot. I can't do this, Sarah. His voice broke the silence. First time he'd said her name out loud at the pond in 17 years. I can't save her. I couldn't save you. And I can't save her, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. The wind picked up. Pine trees whispered. I see you when I look at her. Same age, same. God, she even laughs like you did. And it's killing me, because every time I help her, I remember I couldn't help you. Every time I teach her something, I remember all the things I'll never teach you. His throat closed. And the worst part is, I think I'm using her, trying to go back, trying to get a second chance that doesn't exist. He dropped to his knees in the snow. For the first time since the funeral, since standing in a cemetery with his ex-wife screaming blame, and Roy's hand on his shoulder in the small white casket, Cole Coleman cried. Not quiet, not controlled, broke. 17 years of ice cracking all at once. Back at the house, Roy found Lily in the guest room, small duffel bag on the bed, packing her few things. Miss Lily, what are you doing? I'm leaving. I don't want to make Mr. Cole sad anymore. That's not your job, kiddo. He said he doesn't know if he wants me here because of me or because of her. He's scared, that's all. Doesn't mean he wants you gone. She zipped the bag. I found where she died, the pond. That's where he goes every morning. Yeah. And I'm the same age she was. Yeah. So every time he sees me, he thinks about her drowning. Roy sat on the edge of the bed. You know what I think? What? I think you're the first thing that's made him feel anything in 17 years. And that's scary for a man who's been dead inside since 1975. Lily picked up the photograph from the nightstand. She'd brought it up, set it carefully by the lamp. She looks real nice. She was. A lot like you, actually. Asked too many questions, talked too much, made people smile whether they wanted to or not. A small smile tried to break through Lily's tears. Didn't quite make it. I'm going to stay at the shelter tonight, she said. Can you drive me? Roy looked at her, looked at the photograph, sighed. Yeah, kiddo, I can drive you. She left the photo on the bed, perfectly centered on the pillow, like an apology, like goodbye. The blizzard hit Great Falls at 2 a.m. on December 22nd, 17 years to the hour since Sarah drowned. And by dawn, every road between the ranch and the hospital was buried under 3 feet of snow that felt less like weather and more like judgment. Cole woke to silence, wrong kind of silence. The guest room door stood open, bed made with hospital corners, sheets tucked tight. Everything clean, everything gone. On the pillow, a note in child's handwriting, thank you for being nice to me. I'm sorry I made you sad. You're a real good person, even if you don't think so. Lily, under it, the photograph. Sarah's face smiling up at him across 20 years. He sat on the edge of the bed holding both. The note smelled like the cheap soap from the shelter. The photograph smelled like time, dust and regret and all the things he should have said. His chest felt hollow. Downstairs, coffee was already made. Roy's truck outside meant the foreman was in the barn, giving him space. The kitchen table was empty except for the newspaper, folded perfect, corners aligned. She'd done that yesterday morning before she left. He couldn't throw it away. The phone rang at 5:47 a.m. Mr. Coleman, this is Dr. Ventura. I'm calling about Lily's mother. His hand tightened on the receiver. What happened? Her vitals are declining rapidly. We don't expect her to make it through the day. A pause. Does Lily know? She's not here. I'm sorry? She went back to the shelter last night. I can go get her. Coleman, you should know. The weather service is calling for a major winter storm. Roads are already getting bad. If you're coming, you need to come now. He looked out the window. Snow coming down in sheets, wind howling, could barely see the barn. I'm on my way. He hung up, stood there staring at nothing. December 22nd. Sarah had drowned on December 22nd, 1975. 10:34 a.m. He knew the exact time because he'd been in a conference room in Denver, signing papers that would double his ranch holdings, when the nanny called screaming. 17 years. Same day, Roy came in from the barn, stomping snow off his boots, took one look at Cole's face. What happened? Lily's mother, dying, today. Christ. Roy pulled off his hat. You going? Yeah. Jewel, boss, the storm. I know. Roads are going to be impassable in an hour. I know. You might not make it back for days. Roy. Cole's voice was steady, dead steady. I wasn't there when Sarah needed me. I was closing a land deal, and my daughter was drowning, and I chose wrong. I'm not choosing wrong again. That little girl is going to lose her mother today, and I'm not letting her go through it alone. Roy studied him, finally nodded. I'll drive. You're in no shape. I'm driving. They took Roy's truck, four-wheel drive, better in snow. Cole called Mercy House from the road. Woman who answered said Lily was still asleep. Tell her I'm coming. Tell her I'm sorry. Sorry for what? He didn't know how to answer that. Highway 93 was a nightmare. Visibility maybe 20 feet, drifts across the road, wind shaking the truck. They passed two cars in the ditch, abandoned. Roy drove careful, both hands tight on the wheel. Neither of them spoke. 10 miles in, Cole broke the silence. I lied to her. I know. Not just about Sarah, about why I was helping her. Roy glanced at him. What do you mean? She asked if I wanted her there because of her, or because she reminded me of Sarah. Cole stared out at the white nothing. I told her I didn't know. That's honest. It's not, though. Because I do know. His voice cracked. Every time I looked at her, I saw my daughter, same age, same everything. And I thought maybe if I could save Lily, it would mean Sarah's death wasn't the end of me. That I could still be somebody's father. That I could still... He stopped. Couldn't finish. Roy was quiet a long moment. You think that's wrong? I was using her to fix myself. Or maybe you were broken, and she gave you a reason to try healing. There's a difference. And Cole shook his head. I told myself I was helping her. But the truth is, I needed her more than she needed me. Boss, that girl was walking in the dark, on a frozen highway, with no coat. She needed you plenty. For a ride. Not for... He gestured at nothing. Not for whatever the hell I was trying to do. The truck hit a drift, slid sideways. Roy corrected, kept going. You really think she's better off at that shelter? Cole didn't answer. You really think what you gave her, warm bed, food, someone who gave a damn, you think that was fake because it also helped you? I don't know what it was. It was kindness, you damn fool. Broken people can still be kind. Maybe they're the only ones who know how. Cole pressed his forehead against the cold window. I was in Denver closing a land deal, he said quiet. Sarah called the ranch looking for me. The nanny said I was away on business. Sarah went to the pond alone. She always went alone when I wasn't there. It was her favorite spot. The fence gate was open. Some contractor left it open and nobody noticed? Roy's hands tightened on the wheel. She fell through the ice. Thin spot near the edge. The nanny found her 20 minutes later. Cole's voice went flat. By the time I got home, she was already gone. They said she drowned in 3 feet of water while I was signing papers about property boundaries. What, Cole? For 17 years, I told myself it was an accident. Bad luck, wrong place, wrong time. But the truth is, I chose work over my daughter that day. I chose money and land and business over being there. And she died because of it. Silence. Just the wind and the wipers and the engine straining. That's not... It is. Cole turned to look at Roy. That's exactly what it is. And now Lily's mother is dying on the same day. And I sent Lily away because I was scared. And I'm doing it again. I'm failing another little girl on December 22nd because I'm a coward who can't face the truck. Hit black ice. Spun. Roy fought the wheel. They slid 30 feet before the tires caught gravel and stopped. They sat there, engine idling, both breathing hard. We good? Roy asked. Yeah. Roy put it back in gear, kept driving. They made it to Great Falls by 10 a.m. Took 3 hours to drive 30 miles. St. Vincent's parking lot was nearly empty. Everyone with sense had stayed home. Cole and Roy walked through the storm to the entrance, wind trying to rip the doors from their hands. Inside, fluorescent lights, antiseptic smell, machines beeping somewhere. Lily sat in the ICU waiting room alone. Still wearing his jacket, the one she'd had on when Roy drove her to the shelter. Too big on her, sleeves past her hands, she looked up when they walked in. Her face did something complicated. Relief and hurt and hope all at once. Miss Cole? He crossed the waiting room, knelt down in front of her chair so they were eye level. I'm here. Her face crumpled. She launched herself at him, arms around his neck, holding on like she might fall. He caught her, held her tight. I'm sorry, she whispered against his shoulder. I'm sorry I left. I didn't mean to make you... No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have... He pulled back, looked at her. You didn't do anything wrong, Lily? I did. I was scared. And I said things I shouldn't have said. And she's dying. The words stopped him. The doctor said maybe today, maybe hours, tears running down her face. I don't want her to die, Mr. Cole. I don't want to be alone. You're not alone. I am. I don't got nobody. When Mommy goes, You got me. She stared at him. I mean it. You got me. A nurse appeared. Family for Amanda Hutchins? Cole stood, kept one hand on Lily's shoulder. We're here. And the nurse looked between them. Are you... I'm her guardian. First time he'd said it. Felt right. She nodded. You can go in. Room 304. They walked down the hallway together. Roy stayed in the waiting room. This wasn't his moment. Room 304 was dim, machines everywhere. Lily's mother looked even smaller than before. Her breathing was labored, wet-sounding. The monitors showed vital signs dropping. Lily climbed onto the chair beside the bed, took her mother's hand. "Mommy, it's me, it's Lily." No response. "Mommy, I'm here. Can you hear me? Please wake up, please." The breathing got slower. Lily's voice rose. "Mommy? Santa came. I mean, not real Santa, but a man who's real nice, and he has horses, and he's been taking care of me, and you don't gotta worry. You can wake up now. You can—" The heart monitor's beeping slowed. "Mommy, please. Please wake up. I'll be real good. I promise I'll be good. I won't talk too much or ask too many questions or—" The beeping went from slow to slower to one long tone. Flatline. Nurses rushed in. "Dr. Ventura, measured movements." Someone said, "Time of death, 10:47 a.m." Lily just stared. Why won't she wake up? Cole's throat closed. "Miss Cole, why won't she wake up?" "She can't, sweetheart." "But you said—" "You paid for the doctors. You said—" "I know. I tried." Her face went blank. Shock. "You tried?" "Yeah." "And it didn't work?" "No." She looked at her mother's still face, back at Cole. Something in her eyes broke. "So she's gone? Like, forever gone?" "Yeah." Lily stood there, didn't cry. Just stood there holding her mother's hand while nurses turned off machines and Dr. Ventura murmured condolences that meant nothing. Cole pulled her close. She let him, but she was stiff, frozen. "Come on," he said quiet. "Let's go." He led her out, down the hall, past Roy, who stood when he saw them, past the nurses' station, found the hospital chapel, small room with wooden pews and stained glass and candles. Empty. Cole sat down. Lily sat next to him, stared at the candles. 5 minutes. 10. She didn't cry. Finally. "Why do people leave?" Her voice was flat, empty. "What?" "My daddy left. Now Mommy." "Why does everyone leave?" Cole didn't know how to answer that. "They don't want to. Sometimes things happen that—" "Did your little girl want to leave?" The question hit like a fist. Long pause. "No." "Where were you when it happened?" "Working. I thought work was more important." Was it?" "No." She turned to look at him, 8 years old with eyes too old. "Do you think she's mad at you?" His voice cracked. "I don't know." "Do you think my mommy's mad at me?" "What? No. Lily, no. Your mom loved you more than—" "Then how come she left?" "She didn't want to. The cancer—" "But she still left." Tears finally coming. "And I tried to be real good. I tried to be brave like she said. I didn't cry when it hurt. And I ate all my vegetables and I said my prayers every night. And I asked Santa to make her better and—" She stopped, broke, sobbed, real sobs. The kind that come from the bottom of everything. Cole pulled her into his lap. She buried her face in his chest and cried like the world was ending. Maybe it was. Her world, anyway. "I don't want to be alone," she said between sobs. "I don't want to go to foster care. I don't want strangers. I want—" "You're not going to foster care." She pulled back, looked at him. "I'm not?" "No. You're coming home with me if you want." "Really?" "Really. But what if you leave too?" The question destroyed him. "I won't." "Well, how do you know?" "Because—" His throat closed. "Because I already lost one daughter. I'm not losing you too." She stared at him. "I'm not her, though. I'm not Sarah." "I know." "And then why do you want me?" "Because—" He had to stop, breathe, try again. "Because you're you. Because you fold newspapers and you talk to horses and you ask me why I don't turn on lights. And nobody's asked me questions like that in 17 years. Because when you're around, the house doesn't feel like a tomb." She put her small hand on his face. "I think she forgives you." "What?" "You're Sarah. I think she forgives you for working that day." "How do you know?" "Because if I was her, I would. You seem real sorry." Something in him broke. He'd cried at the pond. That was private, alone. This was different. This was in front of a little girl who'd just lost her mother. And he couldn't stop it. 17 years of ice cracking, 17 years of guilt and grief, and never saying her name, and locking doors and standing at frozen ponds, and refusing to feel anything. All of it came out. He sobbed, full wrecking sobs. The kind that shake your whole body. Lily held his hand while he fell apart. "It's okay to cry, Mr. Cole." Her voice soft. "Mommy said crying means you loved somebody real hard." He nodded, couldn't speak. They sat there in the chapel. Two people who'd both lost everything on December 22nd. One little girl who was 8, one grown man who'd stopped living at 35, Outside, the blizzard raged. Inside, something shifted. Not healed, not fixed, but shifted. After a while, Cole's breathing steadied. He wiped his face with his sleeve. I'm sorry you had to see that. It's okay. I cry all the time. Yeah? Yeah. Usually at night so nobody hears. God, she was 8. You don't gotta hide it anymore, okay? Okay. She leaned against him, exhausted. Can we go home? Yeah, we can go home. Roy was waiting in the lobby. Took one look at them and didn't ask questions, just led them to the truck. The storm had gotten worse. Roads completely buried, highway patrol was closing everything. We're not making it back tonight, Roy said. Maybe not tomorrow either. There a motel? Everything's booked. Storm refugees? Cole looked at Lily, half asleep against his shoulder in the truck's back seat. We'll figure it out. They ended up in the hospital parking lot, truck running for heat, waiting for the storm to break. Lily slept. Cole held her. Roy drove to a gas station for food, came back with sandwiches and coffee. Somewhere around midnight, the snow stopped. They drove home through a white world, stars so bright they hurt. Lily woke up when they pulled into the ranch, looked out at the house, all dark, except the porch light Roy had left on. We're home? Yeah, we're home. She took his hand as they walked inside. Neither of them let go. They buried Lily's mother on a Monday morning in ground so frozen the gravediggers had to use a backhoe, and afterward Cole drove the girl back to his ranch because neither of them could think of anywhere else to go. The funeral was small. Father Tom from St. Mary's said words about grace and mercy. Ventura came, stood in the back, a few nurses from the hospital, Roy, the shelter director, Mrs. Chen, who'd brought Lily a black dress someone donated. Lily didn't cry, just stood there holding Cole's hand, staring at the casket. When it was over, Father Tom pulled Cole aside. That girl needs a home. I know. You thinking about providing one? Cole looked at Lily, waiting by the truck, small and alone in a black dress that didn't fit right. I don't know if I'm what she needs. And son, I've known you 20 years. You've been dead since Sarah passed. First time I seen you at church in 17 years, you had that little girl with you. Father Tom's eyes were kind. Maybe she's not what you need. Maybe you're what each other needs. Back at the ranch, Lily went straight to the guest room, closed the door, didn't come out. Cole stood in the kitchen, lost, didn't know what to do, how to help, if he even could. Roy found him there an hour later. She okay? I don't know. She won't talk. Give her time. She just buried her mother. Cole poured coffee he wouldn't drink. State's gonna want to place her, and unless you file for custody. Roy? What, you afraid? Yeah, I'm terrified. Of what? Failing her, like I failed Sarah. Roy leaned against the counter. You know what the difference is between you and most people? What? Most people fail and move on. You fail once and build a shrine to it. He nodded toward the east wing. That locked room, that pond you stand at every morning. That's not memory, boss. That's punishment. You've been punishing yourself for 17 years. I deserve it? Maybe, maybe not. But that little girl upstairs don't deserve to lose another parent because you're too scared to try? Cole's hands tightened on the mug. State's gonna call tomorrow, Roy said. They'll want to know what the plan is. You better figure out what you're gonna tell them. He left Cole alone with that. Afternoon sun slanted through the windows. Cole walked to the pond. Same walk, same trees, same frozen water. But something was different. He stood at the edge, looking down at ice that reflected nothing. 17 years he'd come here, 17 years of ritual penance, standing in the place that hurt him until, what? Until it stopped hurting? It never stopped. Until he understood? He understood plenty. Until Sarah came back? She wasn't coming back. I can't keep doing this. The thought came quiet. True. I can't keep standing here waiting for something that's never going to happen. Wind moved through the pines. His breath clouded white. I'm sorry, Sarah. His voice rough. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry I chose wrong. I'm sorry for every single thing I did and didn't do. The pond stayed silent, frozen, still. But I can't bring you back. And there's a little girl in that house who just lost her mother, and she needs someone, and I keep thinking, he stopped, started again. I keep thinking maybe the way I honor you isn't by dying too. Maybe it's by living, by being there for someone the way I should have been there for you. The ice didn't answer. I'm gonna stop coming here every morning. His throat closed. I'm gonna let you go, not forget, never forget, but let go. He turned away from the pond, walked back to the house without looking back. He stood outside Sarah's door, hand on the knob, like always, but this time, he turned it. The door opened. 17 years of dust and stale air and frozen time. Pink curtains still hanging. Toys on shelves. Bed made with the quilt his mother had sewn, everything exactly as it was, December 21st, 1975. The day before she died. He stepped inside. It felt like trespassing in a museum, a shrine. Roy was right. On the shelf by the window, Sarah's carousel music box. Wooden painted horses, ballerina in the center. Gift from his mother when Sarah turned 5. He picked it up, dust thick on every surface. Wound the key on the bottom, the mechanism clicked, stiff from disuse. Then, Edelweiss filled the room. Tinny, mechanical, beautiful. The ballerina spun slow, the horses circled. Cole sat on the floor, back against Sarah's bed, and listened. He heard movement in the hallway, looked up. Lily stood in the doorway, eyes red from crying, still in the funeral dress. "Mr. Cole? Come here." She came in slow, careful, like the room was made of glass, sat next to him on the floor. "This was my daughter's room. Her name was Sarah." "I know," voice small. "Roy told me. She loved this music box." They listened to it together. Edelweiss, winding down, getting slower, finally stopping. Lily looked around. "It's real pretty." "Yeah. She was lucky to have a room like this, to have you. I wasn't—" He stopped. "I wasn't always there when she needed me. But you loved her. More than anything. Then she was lucky." Silence. Just the two of them in a room that had been locked for 17 years. "Lily, I need to ask you something." She looked at him. "What if you stayed here, with me? Not just till they find you a foster home. For real." Her eyes went wide. "Like, forever?" "Yeah, like forever. I'd have to go to court, file paperwork, but you want me to stay?" "Yeah. Even though I'm not Sarah. Especially because you're not Sarah." He turned to face her. "You're Lily. You fold newspapers, and you talk to horses, and you ask questions nobody else asks. And when you're here, this house feels like a home instead of a grave." Tears in her eyes. "What if I mess up? What if I'm not good enough?" "Lily, you're 8. You're supposed to mess up. That's how you learn. But what if you get tired of me?" "I won't." "And how do you know?" "Because—" He had to pause, breathe. "Because I already chose wrong once. Chose work over being present. Chose success over being there. And my daughter died because I wasn't paying attention to what mattered." His voice broke. "I'm not making that choice again. If you stay, you're what matters. You're who I show up for. Every single day." She threw her arms around him. Yes, I want to stay." He held her tight. "Can I tell you something?" She whispered. "Yeah. I think your Sarah would be happy. That you're not alone anymore." Cole's eyes closed. "Yeah, I think she would be too." The music box sat between them, silent now. But the room didn't feel like a shrine anymore. It felt like a memory. Good one. The kind you could visit without drowning. Lily pulled back, looked at the music box. "Can I touch it?" "Yeah." She picked it up careful, wound it. Edelweiss played again. They sat there listening. Old grief and new hope sharing the same space. Finally possible. Finally okay. The lawyer showed up Christmas Eve morning with adoption papers and a warning. The state had found a distant aunt in Billings, willing to take custody. And if Cole wanted to fight for Lily, he'd have to prove he was more than just a rich man trying to ease his conscience. Her name was Elizabeth Hart. State-appointed, mid-40s, briefcase that had seen better days. She sat at Cole's kitchen table, with coffee she didn't drink, and papers spread between them. "Miss Coleman, I'll be direct. The aunt, Margaret Hutchins, mother's cousin, filed a claim yesterday. They're blood relatives, courts favor family. They've never met. Legally, that doesn't matter as much as you'd think." Cole's jaw tightened. "What does matter? Your relationship to the child, your ability to provide, your motivation." She looked at him straight. "The judge is going to ask why you want her. You need a better answer than guilt." "Excuse me?" "You lost a daughter. This girl is the same age. The timing is—" She chose her words careful. "Convenient for a certain narrative." Cole's hands went flat on the table. "You think I'm using her to replace what I lost. I think the court might see it that way, and I need to know if they're wrong." Silence. Outside, snow had started again, light, quiet. "They're wrong. Convince me." Cole looked at her. This stranger sitting in his kitchen, questioning whether he deserved to keep the only person who'd made his house feel like a home in 17 years. "I'm not gonna lie and say she doesn't remind me of Sarah. She does. Every day." His voice was rough. "But that's not why I want her here." "Then why?" He had to think about it. Really think. "Because she folds my newspapers every morning. Because she asks why I don't turn on lights and nobody else ever cared enough to ask. Because when I taught her to ride, she fell off and apologized like it was her fault instead of just gravity. Elizabeth Hart's expression didn't change. Because she's 8 years old and she thinks she has to earn the right to exist. And I know what that feels like. Trying to be good enough, trying to be worth keeping. I spent 17 years thinking if I punished myself enough, if I hurt enough, maybe it would mean something. His throat tightened. Lily's the first person who made me realize that's bullshit, that living isn't something you have to earn. It's something you choose. Roy's voice came from the doorway, and he chose. Both of them turned. Roy stood there, hat in hand, mud on his boots from morning chores. "You got something to add, Mr. Blackfeather?" Elizabeth asked. "Yes, ma'am. I've worked for this man 28 years. I was here when his daughter drowned. I watched him lock himself in this house and die inside while his heart kept beating. He came into the kitchen, stood behind Cole's chair. That girl upstairs, she's the first thing that's made him want to live again. Not because she's replacing Sarah, because she's reminding him what it means to be human." Elizabeth wrote something in her notes. "The aunt can provide a stable home. She's married, no children, wants to adopt." "She didn't come to the funeral," Cole said. "She lives 3 hours away. The storm, I drove through that storm, from the ranch to Great Falls, because Lily's mother was dying, and I wasn't going to let that little girl be alone. Well, Coleman, I'm 52 years old. I got more money than I know what to do with. I live in a house big enough for 20 people, and I've been rattling around in it alone for nearly 2 decades. His voice dropped. "I'm not a perfect choice. I'm probably not even a good choice. But I'm the choice that showed up." Elizabeth studied him. Long moment. Finally, "The hearing's day after tomorrow, December 26th. Judge Patterson, he's tough but fair. What do I need to do?" "Show up, tell the truth, and pray the judge sees what I'm starting to see. Which is that you're not trying to bring back the dead, you're trying to save the living." She gathered her papers, "Including yourself." After she left, Cole sat at the table, head in his hands. "You okay, boss? What if I lose?" "Then you lose, but at least you fought." Cole looked up. "I can't lose her, Roy. I can't." "I know. What if the judge says no?" "Then we appeal, we fight, we don't quit." Roy squeezed his shoulder. "But right now, you got something more important to do." "What?" "It's Christmas Eve. That girl's spent every Christmas of her life in motels and shelters. You gonna let her spend this one in a house with no tree?" Cole blinked. Hadn't even thought about it. We don't. "Storage room. You got 17 years worth of decorations locked up in there. Time to use them." "Roy, I can't or won't." The question stopped him. Sarah's decorations would still be in boxes next year and the year after that, or they could make a little girl smile on Christmas. Roy's voice was gentle. "What do you think Sarah would want?" Cole didn't answer, didn't have to. The storage room had been locked as long as Sarah's bedroom. Cole stood outside it, key in hand. Roy waited behind him. "Want me to do it?" "No, I got it." He unlocked the door, pulled the string for the light. Boxes, dozens of them, all labeled in his ex-wife's handwriting, Christmas 1974, Sarah's ornaments, tree lights, stockings. He pulled down the first box. Dust everywhere. Inside, a small artificial tree, pre-lit, 5 feet tall, Sarah's size. "Let's use the big one," Roy said, pointing to another box. 8-footer. She deserves the real thing." They carried boxes to the living room. Cole hadn't decorated for Christmas since 1974. Didn't remember how. Roy did. Moved with practiced efficiency, setting up the tree, stringing lights, untangling garland. Cole opened a box of ornaments. Handmade ones Sarah had made in kindergarten, construction paper and glitter, and her name in crooked letters. Store-bought glass ones, a ceramic angel his mother had given them. He hung them slow, each one a memory. Sarah making the paper star, Sarah hanging the angel, Sarah eating cookies while they decorated. But it didn't hurt the way it used to. It ached, but it was good ache, the kind that meant something mattered. Roy handed him new ornaments, simple wooden ones he'd picked up in town. Mix the old with the new. That's how it's supposed to work. They hung them together, Sarah's ornaments next to fresh ones. Past and present, sharing branches. "Star goes on top," Roy said, handing him a silver one. Cole climbed the ladder, placed it carefully, stepped back. The tree stood in the corner where it used to stand, lights glowing warm, ornaments catching light, star on top reaching toward the ceiling. "She would have liked this," Roy said, quiet. "Yeah." Footsteps on the stairs. Lily appeared in her pajamas, hair messy from sleep, stopped dead when she saw the tree. Her mouth fell open. "Mr. Cole?" He turned. "Hey, you put up a tree?" "Yeah, figured it was about time." She walked toward it slow, touched an ornament, one of Sarah's paper stars. It's the most beautiful thing I ever seen. Some of these were my daughters. Some are new. Thought we could share them. She looked at him, eyes bright. Really? Really. She threw her arms around him. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He hugged her back. Merry Christmas, Lily. Roy cleared his throat. I'm gonna head to the cabin. Leave you two to it. After he left, Cola and Lily sat on the couch, looking at the tree. Cole? Yeah? Are you scared? About the judge? Yeah. Me too. But we're gonna fight. Okay. Whatever happens, we fight. She nodded, leaned against him. Outside, church bells started ringing. Midnight, Christmas. Inside, the tree glowed soft and warm. For the first time in 17 years, Cole Coleman's house felt like Christmas, felt like home. Lily woke Christmas morning to something she'd never seen before. A house that glowed. She crept downstairs. The tree was still lit, presents underneath, small wrapped boxes she knew Cole must have bought yesterday. He sat on the couch with coffee, watching snow fall outside. Merry Christmas, Lily. She ran to the tree. Open presents with the pure joy only 8-year-olds possess. New boots, warm coat, books, a stuffed horse she named Ranger Jr. Thank you, Mr. Cole. This is perfect. He smiled. Real smile. You're welcome. She explored the house in her new coat, touching everything like it might disappear. Found Sarah's room, door still open. The music box sat on the shelf. She looked back at Cole in the doorway. Can I? He nodded. She wound it careful. Edelweiss filled the room. They listened together. But this time, it wasn't grief. It was memory. Honored, not hoarded. She'd want you to be happy, Lily said. I think you're right. Then she left the music box playing. Didn't take it, just let it be. They sat on the porch steps, bundled in coats. Snow fell gentle on the valley. Sun rose gold over the Bitterroot Mountains. Church bells rang in the distance. Cole didn't flinch. Mr. Cole? Yeah? Do you think Mommy knows I'm okay? Yeah, I think she knows. Do you think your Sarah knows too? Long pause. Yeah, I think they both know. She reached for his hand. He took it. They sat in silence. Valley white and quiet. Music box faint through the window. Christmas lights still glowing inside. Two people who'd lost everything finding something new. Not replacement, not forgetting, just living. Cole looked at their joined hands, at the sunrise, at the house behind them, windows lit for the first time in 17 years. Thought about the hearing day after tomorrow, the fight ahead, the uncertainty. But right now, this moment, this was enough. She wasn't sent to replace what I lost. She was sent to remind me I'm still alive. That loving again doesn't erase the past, it honors it, he whispered, more to himself than her. That'll do. Snow kept falling. Light kept rising. They kept holding on.